Hi, my name's Costas.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Weekly Magazine. Now, the last week's word of the week was lecture.
Lecture!
So we have the winners here.
We do indeed.
Chris, would you like to do the honours?
I would love to do the honours. Here we go. Ding dong! Honey, I'm home. And
Jazz Binder.
Excellent,
Jazz. Send us a message and we'll sort something out for you. Fantastic.
Yay.
Well done.
This week, we have an anagram.
Yes.
We have an anagram. And the anagram is do, impressive, nice. That's a word to the wise. Do impressive, nice.
That's it. Do impressive, nice to everyone and everything. I can't remember what that. Actually, I can't remember what that was.
Okay.
Oh, stop them. I can't remember what it was. What was it?
I'll tell you when this take is over.
I typed it up.
Has to do with one of our products today.
I still have no
Oh,
idea.
okay. Well, anyway.
I can't remember, so I'll have to work it out myself. I haven't got it written down, so I'll be cheating. Right, this week's once-overs, we're going to start off with Torn Two Pieces by Shawn Farquhar.
Mathieu Bick's Nomad Pad 2.0.
And the Blast from the Past, we're going to talk about Encyclopedia of Card Sleights by Daryl. Excellent, now let's get on with this week's show.
The first once-over this week is Shawn Farquhar's Torn Two Pieces. Let's have a look at the trailer and have a talk about it afterwards.
Oh my god, that's really weird. It's really weird. Thank you, Shawn. I can see
welcome.
why you won. Nice.
Very impressive, Shawn. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Edward Norton, Jim Parsons, Nick Patera, Shawn Farquhar. Very impressive. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye.
Now, you've just seen the trailer for Torn Two Pieces by Shawn Farquhar. Now, this is a really nice effect.
Yes.
It's very sentimental.
And it's got two phases that don't happen often in a torn and restored type effect. First of all, you've got the signed photo, which is a cool little addition, make it a little more personalised. And of course, the second bit is the final reveal at the end, where they are restored, but not in the way that you'd expect.
Yeah, there's something about restoring something, but it being restored in a mismade way.
Yeah, it's almost more powerful in a sense. They've managed to fuse them together, but mistakenly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And when you give the finished product to the spectator and it is mismade and there's no cuts, there's no sellotape type thing, there's no glue, and it's a proper picture but mismade. It's so strong. I think it's stronger than giving them a restored piece of a photograph, for example.
Right, yeah.
And it restored properly. The fact that it's been restored but it's mismade is even more stronger because to them, you actually did restore it.
Yeah, and I guess it goes with the whole thing of going, why are you tearing this to begin with? Type thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to tear up this sentimental photo of my daughter or whatever. And the fact that you managed to put it together but it's mismatched almost is justification for ripping it up, but backwards. You know, in a weird way. So that's cool, I like that.
You get an example photograph and whatever else to get you going, just to actually see exactly how it looks.
Yeah.
You get all the relevant PDFs and stuff in order to create your own, your customized one, so you can create any photograph you want.
Yeah, just throw it in Photoshop or GIMP and you can make your own
and it's it's really well explained. It's a fun routine. It's if you like if you like ton and restored items or mismade products, then this is ideal because you have got a ton and restored. Plus, when it's restored, it's mismade. It's beautiful. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get. For those of you who know torn and restored stuff, this won't be any different, apart from the fact that it's wallet-sized.
It's very easy to do as well.
Very easy to do.
There's none of this stealing things away.
No, there's no like sort of weird gimmicks you have to make. In fact, this is one of the torn and restored that I am more interested in the sake that you can make it at home, super simple, print it out, or go to like a photo printer if you want photo paper or whatnot. And because other stuff, I mean, there's some really great torn and restored, especially torn and restored newspapers, which I love. But I've never had the chance to go, is it worth buying this expensive thing to do this great effect? And this in itself, I think, is a strong illusion for less money in a way.
Well, my issue with torn and restored, for example, playing card tricks. Is they gimmick it.
They're heavily gimmicked.
There's some heavily gimmicked in a certain way, which puts me off. Okay, you can go down Guy Hollingworth's Reformation, which is the best out there as far as I'm concerned, which is just pure genius choreography. Or you can get a photograph that's something that's virtually self-working, very easy to do.
Yeah, and the fact that, I mean, some of the card stuff, you've got to do moves and whatnot to give the thing out.
There's hardly any moves in this.
No, exactly. And once you've done the actual restore, you can just give it straight out to them.
Yeah.
So once they see the fact that it's restored mismatched, you can then just go, here you go, look, it's got your signature on it.
And also, if you go to a web service, I think it's called Photo Bucket, where you can actually have these printed for you.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. It just makes it much more easier. They're not that expensive either.
No,
so,
and you can get a whole bunch done.
It's really good. It's a nice product by Shawn Farquhar.
Yeah.
No, great work. That's torn too. The second once over this week is Nomad Pad 2.0. Presented by Mathieu and it's created by Nicola. Now let's watch a performance Chris did earlier and we'll come back and discuss it.
We're going to try an experiment today.
Okay.
More of an experiment than a trick. I've got a notepad, but it's not just a notepad, it's more of a drawing pad. It doesn't have any lines on it, doesn't really matter. But I'm going to give you this page and I'd like you to draw something on it. Now, when most people do this, or most like psychics or magicians do this, they say, draw a simple object like a house or whatever. But I don't want you to draw a house or a stick man. Try and make it something that I couldn't guess, not probable guessing. Just it doesn't have to be complicated. Don't go Leonardo da Vinci on me. Just pick something clear, draw it big, and but a solid image in your mind, right? Doesn't have to be anything abstract, just something that comes into your head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn away, so I obviously can't see what, and I'm going to keep talking in case I can hear where you're writing.
Simple.
Just something simple, quite big and bold, so you know, so it's in your mind. And I'm going to keep talking because I can hear you scratching away, so I don't want it to give me any clues. And when you're done, cap the pen. And take off the sheet of paper that it's drawn on. And the reason why I put two pieces of paper down is because the ink might rub off on the other piece. Did it rub off? So I'd like you to just take off both of them. Yeah, that's great, perfect.
Okay.
And fold them up and just sit on them. Just so, I can't see them. So tell me when you're done.
Done.
Yeah, great, perfect. Okay, and what we're going to do is I am going to try and... Actually, I'm going to use, I'll use a sheet of paper as well. I'll use a sheet of paper, but I don't want you to see what I'm drawing. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to sort of project the image to me, right? I think, okay, I don't want you to see, I think, start off. I'm getting... That's odd. So I might actually be. I might be wrong. Because I'm getting sort of. I don't know. I'm just gonna write what I think it is because it might be confusing. I'm gonna put that down for the time being. Alright, I'm gonna leave it. In fact, yeah, we'll leave it there. Would you take out a piece of paper? Because what I got was, I got like a combination of like a fluffy cloud and like a piece of celery.
Okay.
So I think like,
My drawing skills.
Yeah, what did you get? Wow.
Tree.
I got a tree as well. And that is pretty close. But I even got the... Wow.
Now you've just watched a performance for the Nomad Pad. What did you think of it when you before you performed it and after?
Before I performed it, well, to be honest, when I watched the instructional video, which is a download, which you can watch on your iPad and whatever as well. You don't have to download it to your computer, but you can.
Or your tablet in
or
general.
Your tablet or whatever. I sort of fell in love with it straight away. It's quick, simple, straight to the point, and after performing it, realized that it's even more powerful than what I previously had thought. Because it's, you know, it's got similar techniques to other tricks that we're familiar with. But there's something that I love. Obviously, you don't have to use it for image duplication, but I've always loved the idea of image duplication, but never wanted to do giant canvas stuffs or whatever. And the fact that I can use this, bring it round, it's very, what's the word? It's very normal looking in a sense. Like, you know, pick this up. It's just a pad of paper.
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks sort of similar.
Yeah.
You know, you could go down the road of cipher.
Right.
We love that.
We do love, like,
We'll use it with the card box. Mark Elston's got something which doesn't use this particular gimmick, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But it uses a notepad as an impression device. This is, it looks very natural. It's a decent size.
Yeah.
It's a big pad as well, i.e. there's a lot of pages in it.
Oh yeah.
And you also get the same amount of pages as a refill.
Yes.
Which is beautiful in itself. It's a great impression device. The choreography, actually the explanation, what, is 17 minutes long?
Something like that,
Something like that.
Really, really quick.
Because
Straight
there
to the
isn't,
point.
there isn't much it needs to explain.
No.
It explains you what it is, the difference between the original and the 2.0, and just explains what the routine is.
Yeah,
And
it's
the routine's the routine.
It's that simple. Obviously, you don't have to go down the same route that I did or the route that's on the video. There's many applications you can use for this, with the drawing and whatnot. But it's just as is. And choreography isn't quite the right word. I don't know, the way you use it is just the way you would use it. You know, there's no weird like, oh, I've got to like take this out or do something with it. You do what you would do with a notepad.
Either the natural handling of a pad, when you're holding
Exactly,
a pad and you're turning the pages, you do the exact same thing in order to get the impression and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no dodgy handling. It looks very natural, and it's really, really good. It's you know, and that's the Nomad Pad 2.0. Excellent. This week's question was, what do you expect to see when attending a lecture? Pet hates, what don't you like, etc. Anything lecture related. We also asked people not to give specific lecturers in a negative response. This is not what we're here for. We're just intrigued to see what people expect when they go to a lecture.
Yes.
Now, I've got a couple.
Ooh,
Now-
what are your couple?
My couple is when you go to a lecture and there's no lecture notes. Yes, granted, you can take a notepad, but come on, you're watching someone explain something, then my intention is to get the explanation rather than writing it down. If I'm writing it down, I'm not getting an explanation, but at the same time, by concentrating on the lecture, 2 hours later, by the time I've gone home, because it's going to be about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I've forgotten everything. So, lecture notes is very important to me. And also, when I attend a lecture, I don't expect to see someone in the front seat playing with his cards.
Oh, yes. Audience as well. Audience sort of management with...
And I think the lecturer should actually tell that person to put the cards away. I know I would, because it's really irritating to...
Not only is it distracting to the lecturer, it's also distracting to the people watching the lecture as well.
I think it's insulting. You're there to see someone lecture rather than you showing him you can do the Sybil cut and whatever else you can throw above your head and catch it with your mouth and feet.
Can you do that, Costas?
I'm still practicing. Right.
Yes.
Do you want to...
Sure. Wiz Spencer starts us off today. He says, I hate when the whole lecture is just a dealer-dem to sell their stuff and they don't teach you much.
Now that's interesting.
That is a common issue.
Well,
and what we've talked about before.
As a magic dealer, we actually do dealer-dems, but it's sold as a dealer-dem and not a lecture. So you expect when you go to see a lecture...
There's a difference.
There's a difference, but Wiz is right, you do
come across it.
We're going to touch on the reasons why, I guess, later on. Now, Stacey Smith, she says, there's something I hate even more than Wiz's Spencer's answer. Lecturers who put a large slice of time aside for talking about their career. No name, but I was once at a lecture where the guy spent almost the whole thing talking about his career, showing a slideshow of him shaking hands with his mentors and celebrities and publicity shots of his big corporate shows. That's the kind of thing you'd expect someone to do if they're in a magic club and they've been given a night to celebrate their achievements, but not if you've been paid to come and lecture.
I totally agree.
That's another valid point. You're there to see a lecture, you don't care what they've achieved, because for them to do a lecture, they must be accomplished to some degree.
Yeah, exactly, and they're there to show why, not all the people they've met. Yeah. Ian Smith says, like Wiz, my biggest pet peeve is when a lecture turns out to be a dealer-dem by a different name. Don't get me wrong, I like dealer-dems when they are advertised as that. Fair enough. I miss buying lecture notes that contain the effects from the lecture. Now it's mostly, you can learn trick 1 and 3 if you buy DVD A, trick 2 is on DVD B, and trick 4 and 5 are in my book. Also, as much as I like hearing about how to do a new trick, I also really enjoy hearing about the thinking behind it. I think a good balance between theory and method is essential for a good lecture.
Yeah,
that's a great way of putting it.
Nice response.
Absolutely.
Nice response. It's actually a valid point. When you go to see a lecture because you're part of a magic club and you can justify paying that annual fee, but you can't actually justify buying tricks every time you see a lecture. So you might see a lecture once every 2 weeks or once a month. It doesn't mean you might not be able to afford anything. You might be able to afford lecture notes because lecture notes are usually cheaper than the DVDs.
Right.
So you don't want to have to buy the DVDs to walk away with the knowledge of what you've just seen.
And that is the odd thing. That's almost like saying, you're paying for me to teach you this stuff and learn from me only if you buy this other thing. So the stuff you've seen, you're not going to learn. Anyway.
Alex D. Fisher. Ones that are, as Wiz mentioned, effectively dealer-dems or are simply trying to shift hugely expensive items. Now, I know lectures don't pay well and the back of room sales are often the only real profit the lecturer makes, but sometimes no lecture notes or massively overpriced stuff that few in a club can afford.
Yeah, and that just comes down to a waste of money to the people attending the lecture, because they're going to come away with the knowledge of this, but also not being able to afford the stuff that has been shown.
Luckily, I've never been to a lecture where they had expensive stuff. I guess it's out there. People that concentrate in the high-end market will have the high-end stuff. But yeah, it's valid.
Yeah. Faye Presto says, see if I can get this right. Tricks. Gah. Would someone please talk about staging, programming, lighting, sound, routining, stagecraft, dress, personal freshness? Thank you, Quentin Reynolds, a rare exception who received a deserved standing ovation at a Magic Circle for his rare insights. I realize to make a lecture viable as a commercial proposition, sales are essential, but that is what happens in a price-driven economy. You can get magicians who book by the hour, you get lectures where it is sell, but the cost of the lecture to the club is a very reasonable X amount. Pound zip.
Now, the following one I had to read twice.
Oh, I haven't read it, so why not?
And you'll see how surprising this is. J. George, he put, even worse than these glorified dealer dems is when the performer withholds the performance rights unless you buy the product. I have no problem with performers doing this in general, but they shouldn't be teaching these items at a lecture. Okay, I've never come across this before, and I'm sure it's happened and probably will still happen, but why would you hold performance rights to something you've just explained in a lecture? It doesn't make sense.
That's also horrible to do. For any of you who do that, that's horrible. Why? Tell me why.
Well, actually, I was at a lecture, and this is another pet hate, and it does go back to an expensive product. Was at a lecture, the performer performed 4 items. The last item he performed, he would not explain and said, I've just released it with another company. If you want an explanation, you can buy it in this book, but the book's like over £100.
Okay.
So you've had a lecture, you just did a lecture, and basically a quarter of your lecture was a product that you couldn't explain, and you were asking for over £100. So what was the point of you doing the lecture in the first place?
Don't do stuff you're not willing to explain or can't explain.
That's really bizarre.
That's very odd. Sam Fitton says, designing a lecture is difficult because you're faced with people at different levels / abilities, but also, more importantly, mentalities. Some magicians want tricks and more tricks. Some want dealer dems and an unboxing of a product, whilst my favorite have been those that are focused on magic theory. These have been the most powerful insight, thought-provoking and important. Although, sadly, many mainstream lecturers won't focus on that because they know most of the audience won't get it, and it's not what they will get them booked, and therefore making the money. Yeah, that's interesting. That's sort of an opposite view.
I fully agree with Sam here. Now, maybe I should say this, maybe I shouldn't, but most lectures out there I dislike with a vengeance. And it's not to do with the lecture itself, it's to do with the format it's presented. It's so outdated.
Right, okay.
You stand in front of the room, you teach people these tricks, you get their money and run. There's most of them don't give any in-depth stuff regarding the reason behind something.
Yeah.
Or even see if people can actually pick this up. I've just explained it to you. Can you now do it? Right, it's so crammed with feeding people information. Like a PowerPoint presentation, so much stuff on a PowerPoint, you're not going to digest it.
It's also interesting talking about another aspect of mentalities, I use that word again, is the fact that you're going to see a live person. You're going to see someone who should share those insights because they've gone through this stuff, they've worked this stuff, they know what works, what doesn't work, and why they're teaching this certain stuff. And I think that's different than just picking up a book. If you get a lecture that just teaches stuff, straight, flat, textbook type things,
what's the point of going to the lecture?
You're going to see this person for a particular reason. Maybe you're part of it, but you're seeing a lecture because it's a very personal thing. It's a one-on-one, in a sense, between people and the lecturer.
it's. I can guarantee you go to a lecture and at the end you ask people what they thought of it, and they would say, "Oh, it's fantastic, it's great." Ask them, "Why do you think it's fantastic? What was so great about the lecture?" I bet you they can't actually pinpoint exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they spent a couple of hours away from home,
right, with other magicians,
watching another magician perform to them, was fantastic and great. But what have you actually walked away from? Do you remember anything?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Ask them a week later, what did you learn? Did you using any of this stuff? Have you practiced it?
But I
Where are your notes?
pretty much guarantee that you would remember more the theory and reasonings rather than explanation of a trick.
Yes.
You pretty much guarantee that. And then when you walk away and you get something from it, from someone that's been out there and is so experienced in what he does, the advice is gold.
Absolutely.
But you can be performing magic for 50 years. It doesn't mean, what you're going to show me as a trick is of interest to me.
Right.
Give me your experiences, what you have realised by being out there in the real world, like Quentin Reynolds, as Faye said. The guy's been out there and he's got a lot of knowledge to give you. Get that knowledge. And that's the gold stuff. That's what's really fascinating about lectures, is being in a position where you can get the experiences of people and being able to learn from them and adapt them.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
As Mathieu Wright has some ideas on character development as Sam Fitton continues as Tommy Wonder, which is nice to see Mathieu Wright. So that's really nice because there's more than just card tricks. But Kev G, he put something, those other magicians who ask irrelevant questions all the time and also try to tell the lecturer how things are done. Grr.
Wow. That's that goes along with the people in the front row playing with cards.
Well, yeah.
You've got to be respectful.
And the irony is, Tom Marlin replied to this post and I automatically knew who this person they're referring to was. Kev G wasn't referring to a particular person, he was referring in general.
Yeah.
Tom was referring to a particular person, and then I realised who that person was. And it can be irritating when you've got a magician asking a question that is just there to try and trip the lecturer up, or is meaningless.
Yeah,
or to make the magician, or to make the lecturer look like a fool.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cringing.
Also, just extremely disrespectful to the lecturer.
Funny enough, this person they're referring to did both.
Oh.
Then tried to tell the lecturer how to do the trick better in front of everyone. So that's a couple of things that I don't like about lectures. But I do think, in general, lectures can be improved on. Just because you know how to perform magic tricks and go out there performing doesn't mean you can stand in front of a group of people teaching it. And if you are going to teach it, you need to sit down and think about how you're going to present it to people.
I think it's also come down to the fact that nothing wrong with this, but in the sense you're putting more fish in the sea, it's becoming increasingly easier to become a lecturer, to do lecture stuff. And I think that's where the invaluable mentors and information is lost in that sea of people who are not ready or not prepared to actually do a lecture correctly. I think it's a shame, because there are some lectures out there that are gold.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the gold lectures out there. We try to hold them here at the Dow.
Yes.
To try and do something different, I guess. You want to give something more to the person that's coming to see. And
absolutely.
Who knows? But yeah, no, that's the questions for this week. Fantastic.
This week's Blast from the Past is something that's very dear and close to my heart, which is Daryl's Encyclopedia of Card Sleights, Volume 1 through 8.
We're not going to show you a trailer in this.
Yeah.
It's a blast from the past because... Why is it a blast from the past for you?
It's a blast from the past for me because, first of all, this was the first collection of magic DVDs that I got, and I learned so much from. This started me off going, okay, I want to stick with cards. This made me just, it's just got such, it just makes me happy inside, because I started with this. This is what I started with. His 8-volume set,
Now, I'll tell you
inside.
why it's a blast from the past for me. Is not because it was the first set that I brought, like in your case. However, I had the whole set, but it was on videotape.
Oh, VHS!
So it goes back further than when Magic was being transferred onto DVD.
That's right, yeah.
And I learned a lot of magic from this. Because what it is, it's 8 DVDs on virtually everything you need.
Every aspect of card magic you could possibly think of is included on this.
The first one, DVD, starts with shuffling cards, and you got. It's difficult saying one DVD does this because there's so much material on each DVD.
Yeah.
You got controlling cards, shuffling cards, passes, palms,
Special cards, gimmicked cards.
There's everything. There's everything you need to know. And okay, you can buy one DVD. Like we sell one DVD with it. It's got about 30 card elements to it. Some color changes, some passes, palms, this kind of stuff. But each DVD had a lot of material. There's 8 DVDs with hundreds of different things you can do, and also routines to implement what you've learned. If you want to learn about card magic and you're starting to get into it, because some of our viewers are new to magic.
Yes. Hello.
It's a fantastic set, and the great thing is now not only it's moved from videos to DVDs, we have each of these as a streaming download as well, so you'll be able to watch them on your tablets and your phones and take them with you and do whatever you want with them. So it's actually a nice, convenient. Do you know, this is probably one of the few justifications of having an instant download. I'm not really keen on them myself, but the market's out there, so whatever a customer wants.
Starting to become the norm now.
But if, for example, I'm watching this on my tablet, I could have the tablet right here in front of me whilst practicing, rather than watching it on a TV.
I totally agree with you.
What a beautiful way of buying the downloads of these and having them on your tablet or your phone or something and practicing from that. Much more closer than on a big screen and stuff.
Fully agree.
I think it's great.
And I've just got to talk a bit about Daryl, because what a fantastic teacher. What a fantastic teacher. And just like a great persona to watch. You'll just enjoy watching these DVDs to watch Daryl.
No, absolutely. They don't call him the magician's magician for nothing.
Absolutely.
He teaches magicians. And his teaching style is unique. In the aspect of it's clear, it's concise.
It doesn't condescend you for not knowing stuff. He'll go over it again. There's on each DVD there's a section that will go through each and every routine and trick and little move in sort of a what do they call it? A super practice session where you'll go through it and you can follow along, and he'll do it from different angles, different camera angles and everything, and he almost feels like he's there with you. That's how I felt. It just felt so personal of going, oh my god, he knows what bit of this is difficult. He knows why I might have trouble with this tiny little thing, and he'll go over it. And it's just, if I could meet Daryl.
Well, the irony is, when I was growing up, Daryl and Michael Amar were on the forefront of magic products that were coming out, VHS tapes back in the day. Now, new magicians are not really familiar who Daryl is, because he hasn't released anything for a while, and he's also released standalone packet tricks and all that kind of stuff. So people have no idea that this person here was the forefront of a lot of our magic. A lot of people that are full-time professionals would have probably learned from a Daryl VHS tape at some stage, or a Micro MR. So even though you might not be familiar who Daryl is or have any of his DVDs or tricks, he's someone to learn from.
Yes.
You know, if there's someone to learn from, buy a Daryl DVD set.
Yeah.
Because loads of people that you're learning from nowadays would have learned from Daryl. That's all we can say. There's 8 of them. They're streaming downloads. You could also buy the DVDs if you wanted to. But if you like the idea of having your iPad, for example, your tablets, with that on and practicing in front of it, I think it's a great way. And it's only just occurred to me, what's an advantage of an instant download? Forget about taking it away from you. It's about learning this stuff.
Yes.
And it's cool. I'm excited now. I'm going to download every single one of them. Fantastic.
Love it.
Now this week's once-overs was Torn to Pieces by Shawn Farquhar.
Matthew Bick's Nomad Pad 2.0.
And the great Encyclopedia of Card Sleights by Daryl, volumes 1 to 8, available as streaming downloads. Great buy. And don't forget the anagram.
Yes. Do impressive nice, everyone.
Do
impressive nice.
Now, a couple of days ago, we filmed another project.
Yes, we did.
And it's actually better than I expected.
Yeah.
We were visiting something from the past that was really well received anyway.
And it's gotten better.
We've boosted it, we've put adrenaline into it, and what's the other phrase they say?
It's been revamped,
reloaded, rebooted. It's on
new and improved.
It's on steroids.
It's on steroids. No, but I'm actually really excited about it because I took it home and messed with it as well.
We've taken one trick from a previous DVD set, and we've created it as a project. There was some disadvantages that people thought of the original. Those disadvantages no longer exist.
Disappeared completely.
It's actually easier to make the gimmicks than I ever thought possible.
Yes.
And the third way of doing the gimmick is genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had a couple of collaborations with this as well. And it's going to be a fun project to bring out. I know there's a demand for this.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Because it's what people use from this DVD set. And it's very underestimated. And not that many people really know it exists because it was part of a multiple effect DVD set that just, went over heads of people. But this time round,
now you will know.
We are going to do it justice. So we're going to be working on the trailer over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Get the trailer all done and hopefully it will be out before Christmas. It's going to be a nice product.
Yay!
And it's quietened down now, I think.
Yes,
we've no more filming in the studio for a while, I don't think. Actually, there might be a couple of projects we'll be filming sometime this month. I'm just waiting to confirm a couple of dates. But no, it's back to normal. Let's get organised and...
yes, clean up time.
Bring these... Well, you got some tricks to learn.
I do have some tricks to learn.
He's got tricks to learn and we got some other stuff. Actually, no,
We actually do. We have a whole bunch of stuff to do,
yeah.
but it's nice because we've managed to do a whole week of intensive stuff.
Yeah,
relax a little.
We got a backlog, and if people have been trying to call us, email us, well, we're now back. We're alive.
We are alive.
Our codes have been eliminated.
Yes,
we are breathing okay. We are healthy. We're eating okay.
Yeah. Well,
and today. It's Chris's birthday!
Yay!
So, whoever sends him a present gets 2 back from us.
Oh, cool! Send me presents, guys! Yes, it is.
It's scary. There's going to be someone out there that's going to send you a present. Yeah, you got a week until next Friday or next Wednesday to send him a present, and we send you 2 back. That is worth more than what you've actually given us or given him because it's his birthday.
Incentive.
I'm just trying to make him feel a bit wanted.
It's nice.
Doesn't
happen often.
Right. I've been taking too much.
Yes. Very exciting stuff coming up. A great show, good talk, products, and don't forget our do impressive, nice anagram.
Like, he's falling asleep. Come on, wake up! That's it. Until next week, thank you very much. Cheers.
Bye!